Deep in the earth and beneath the waves, history has hidden secrets waiting to be discovered. Recent archaeological discoveries have not only amazed us, but have also repainted a picture of the human past in ways we never dared to imagine. Are you ready to join us in uncovering these shocking mysteries? Nestled beneath the deep blue waves of the East China Sea, not far from the southern coast of Yonaguni Island in Japan's Ryukyu Islands, lies a group of massive and mysterious rock formations. Respectfully referred to as a Seki Point by locals, and more widely known to scientists and the public as the Yonaguni Ruins or Yonaguni Pyramids, these massive rocks have intricate shapes that suggest the hand of a mason. With their vertical terraces, square blocks that appear to have been meticulously cut, smooth roads that stretch out, and towering pillars that rise from the seabed, the Yonaguni Ruins have sparked an ongoing debate among scientists, archaeologists, and enthusiasts. The central question remains, are these simply natural sculptures, shaped by the power of time and harsh geological processes, or are they truly the majestic remains of an ancient civilization that has sunk deep into the ocean, an eastern Atlantis still waiting to be awakened? The story of the existence of the Yonaguni Ruins begins unexpectedly and with a strong mark of curiosity. In 1986, Kihachiro Aratake, an experienced scuba diving instructor with a deep knowledge of the waters around Yonaguni Island, was on a routine survey trip to find new and attractive diving spots to attract tourists. While exploring the colorful coral reefs and rich marine ecosystem at a depth of about 25 meters, he accidentally encountered a scene that was completely different from what nature usually brings. Instead of rough limestone structures or soft coral structures, Aratake was met with giant rocks with straight lines, sharp angles, and strangely flat surfaces. This stark difference immediately aroused the scuba diving instructor's curiosity and sense of something extraordinary. Unable to ignore these strange shapes, Aratake noted their location and shared his discovery with those interested in archaeology and geology in the area. News of the mysterious underwater structures quickly spread beyond the small island and attracted the attention of scientists across Japan and the world. Professor Masaki Kimura, a renowned marine geologist from Ryukyu University, became one of the first researchers to set foot on the site. With the enthusiasm of a true scientist, Professor Kimura made countless dives into the Yonaguni Sea, spending hours observing, filming, taking photos, and making meticulous measurements of the rock structures. He also collected rock samples from various locations for geological analysis, looking for clues about their origin and formation process. Professor Kimura's initial efforts laid the foundation for more extensive research that followed, and provided impressive initial images and data about the Yonaguni Ruins. The Yonaguni Ruins are not a single structure but a complex of many different rocks and structures spread over a considerable area of the seabed. Among them, the most prominent is a giant rock, roughly rectangular in shape, estimated to be about 20 meters high and an impressive width of about 100 meters. What makes this rock special is not only its massive size, but also its unusual morphological features. Its surprisingly straight edges, almost perfectly square corners, and smooth surface evoke a strong sense of intelligent intervention. However, the magic of the Yonaguni Ruins does not stop at this main rock. Around it, researchers have discovered many smaller but equally impressive structures. One of the most noticeable features is the presence of many stone blocks with distinct terraced shapes. These steps are not only regular in height, but also surprisingly straight, forming layered structures that resemble miniature pyramids or the foundations of an ancient architectural work. The height of each step can range from a few dozen centimeters to several meters, and they are arranged in an orderly manner, giving the impression of a deliberate design. Scattered throughout the site are numerous square or rectangular stone blocks with sharp edges and smooth surfaces. Some of these stones appear to be stacked in an orderly manner, forming walls or solid foundations. The presence of these clearly geometric stone blocks is one of the main factors that leads many to believe that they are not the product of nature. One structure that has particularly caught the attention of researchers is a flat and wide stone structure, resembling a road or a path that extends for tens of meters along the seabed. The surface of the road is relatively flat and is bordered on both sides by larger stone blocks, forming a clear corridor. The existence of this straight and seemingly oriented structure further raises doubts about the natural origin of the site. Some other stone blocks are in the shape of pillars, rising vertically from the seabed. These pillars are quite large in diameter, up to several meters, and vary in height. Some pillars have smooth surfaces, while others have strange grooves or patterns. The appearance of these vertical structures, which are clearly different from the usual natural stone terrain, has raised speculations about their architectural role in the past. Since their discovery, the true origin of the Yonaguni ruins has been the focus of a fascinating and fierce scientific debate. Two main hypotheses have been put forward to explain the existence of these strange structures. Natural hypothesis. Proponents of this hypothesis argue that all of the morphological features of the Yonaguni ruins, including the stepped shape, the square blocks, the path, and the pillars, can be reasonably explained through natural geological processes, primarily the erosion and faulting of sandstone. Sandstone, the dominant rock in the area, has a layered structure and tends to fracture along vertical and horizontal planes under the influence of pressure, sea currents, and other weathering processes. Geologists of this school point out that similar structures, although perhaps not as large or complex, have been found on many other coastlines around the world, where sandstone has been eroded by waves and strong currents. They argue that, over millions of years, the constant impact of natural elements has created the strange shapes we see today, and that the order we perceive is simply a coincidence. Furthermore, they emphasize the absence of any obvious evidence of human intervention, such as tools, artifacts, ceramic fragments, or traces of mortar or ancient construction techniques. In contrast, those who believe that the Yonaguni ruins are the product of an ancient submerged civilization focus on morphological features that they consider unlikely to have been created by nature. They point to the regularity of the steps, the squareness of the blocks, the smoothness of the surfaces, and especially the existence of the road and vertical pillars as strong evidence of human intervention. The massive size and overall complexity of the structure are also considered to be beyond the capacity of normal erosion processes to produce the formations. Proponents of this hypothesis speculate that the Yonaguni ruins may be the remains of an ancient city, a harbor, or even a ceremonial complex that was submerged by sea level changes after the last ice age or other geological activity. They also cite local legends of a lost underwater city as further support for their theory. Despite the lack of clear artifacts, some researchers believe that the arrangement and shape of the blocks themselves are evidence of intentional design. On a fateful day in 2021, the world of paleoanthropology and archaeology was shocked by a surprising and promising news: the announcement of an extraordinary ancient human skull fossil discovered in Harbin City, Heilongjiang Province, China. The fossil, affectionately but powerfully nicknamed Dragon Man, Homo Longi, quickly attracted the attention of scientists because of its massive size, unique morphology, and potential to profoundly change our understanding of the human family tree. The appearance of Dragon Man not only added a new branch to the Homo family, but also raised difficult questions about the evolutionary relationship between modern humans, Homo sapiens, and other ancient human species, especially Neanderthals and Denisovans. Could the Dragon Man be a closer cousin than we thought, a missing link in the complex story of its own origins? The story of the Dragon Man skull begins in the 1930s, a tumultuous period in Chinese history. During the construction of a bridge over the Songhua River in Harbin, a construction worker discovered an ancient human skull buried in sediment. Realizing the potential importance of the find, the worker carefully stored the skull away from the Japanese army that was occupying the area at the time. For nearly 90 years, the precious skull was secretly kept by the worker's family, away from public curiosity and government confiscation. It was not until 2018 that the story of this mysterious skull was brought back into the light of science. When the owner of the skull decided to donate it to Hebei University of Geology, paleoanthropologists immediately recognized the special significance of this fossil. With its size significantly larger than that of modern humans and Neanderthals, and its unique morphological features, the Harbin skull clearly belonged to a previously unknown ancient human species. An international team of scientists, led by Professor Ji Cheong from Hebei University of Geology and Professor Chris Stringer from the Natural History Museum of London, conducted a detailed study of the skull. They used advanced techniques such as CT, computerized tomography scanning, to create detailed three-dimensional images of the skull's internal and external structure, and compared it with the skulls of other ancient and modern humans. The research, published in the journal Innovation in 2021, officially introduced the world to a new species of ancient human, Homo longi, or dragon man. The dragon man skull bears a unique combination of primitive and advanced features, making it a particularly important fossil in understanding the evolution of the genus Homo. With an estimated intracranial capacity of approximately 420 centimeters cubes, the dragon man's skull is comparable to or even slightly larger than the average modern human skull and significantly larger than that of a Neanderthal. This suggests that the dragon man had a large brain, suggesting complex cognitive abilities. Similar to Neanderthals and some other ancient humans, the dragon man possessed a prominent brow ridge that formed a continuous arc over the two eye sockets. This feature is commonly found in ancient humans and is thought to be related to chewing or facial bone structure. The dragon man eye sockets were large and roughly square in shape, as opposed to the more rounded eye sockets of modern humans. Despite the thick brow ridge, the dragon man face was relatively wide and flat, with high cheekbones and no pronounced chin like in modern humans. The remaining teeth on the dragon man's skull were relatively large, suggesting that the species' diet may have included tough, chewy foods. This unique combination of features has led scientists to question the evolutionary place of the dragon man in the human family tree. Was it a separate evolutionary branch, parallel to the lineage leading to Homo sapiens? Or was it more closely related to one of the known ancient human species? Soon after its publication, the dragon man became the focus of a heated debate about its evolutionary position. Based on morphological analyses, early researchers proposed that Homo longi may have been the closest relative of Homo sapiens among known ancient humans, even closer than Neanderthals. This argument was based on several shared characteristics between the dragon man and modern humans, such as large skull size and relatively flat faces. However, this proposal has been challenged by some other scientists, who argue that the morphological features of the dragon man bear more similarities to those of the Denisovans, an ancient human species known primarily from bone and tooth fragments found in the Denisova cave in Siberia. Genetic analyses have revealed that the Denisovans were closely related to Neanderthals and interbred with Homo sapiens in the past. Another study, based on a more comprehensive morphological analysis, has proposed that the dragon man may belong to another ancient human group, possibly a separate evolutionary branch that developed in East Asia. The diversity of ancient human fossils found in China in recent decades, such as the Dali and Jinyushan people, suggests that the region may have been an important incubator for the evolution of the genus Homo. To date, there is no final consensus on the exact place of the dragon man on the human family tree. The lack of ancient DNA from the Harbin skull is a major obstacle to resolving this issue. However, scientists continue to study and compare the dragon man's skull with other ancient human fossils, hoping to shed light on its evolutionary relationships. In the ancient sedimentary rock of the Evron quarry, located in what is now Israel, archaeologists have unearthed compelling evidence of the controlled use of fire by our ancestors between 1 and 1.5 million years ago. The groundbreaking discovery not only pushes back the previously accepted timeline for the mastery of fire by the genus Homo, but also opens new doors to a deeper understanding of the physical, cognitive, and social development of our ancestors in the early stages of human history. Fire, long considered one of the most important inventions in human history, has now been shown to have been within the reach of our ancestors hundreds of thousands of years earlier than previously thought, bringing about profound changes in diet, defense, social interactions, and perhaps even brain development. The Evron Quarry is an important archaeological site in the western Galilee region of Israel, famous for its faunal fossils dating back to the early Pleistocene. During excavations at the site, scientists discovered a unique layer of sediment containing numerous burnt animal bone fragments and tiny ash particles. The unusual concentration of these burnt traces in a given area raised suspicions that this was not the result of a natural forest fire, but evidence of the use of controlled fire by hominins, human ancestors. An international team of researchers led by Dr. Philippe Natalio from the Weizmann Institute of Science and Professor Arella Hovers from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem conducted a detailed analysis of the burnt bone fragments and ash found at the Evron Quarry. They used advanced techniques such as Raman spectroscopy and elemental analysis to determine the chemical composition of the ash and compare the degree of burning of the bone fragments. The analysis showed that the bones were burned at relatively low temperatures and for a short period of time, which is consistent with a campfire rather than a large, intense fire. Furthermore, the concentration of ash and charred bones in a limited area suggests that the fire was maintained and controlled at a specific location. To rule out the possibility that these burn marks were caused by natural events, such as lightning strikes, the researchers analyzed the surrounding environment and found no evidence of large, widespread fires. The presence of ancient stone tools near the fire marks also supports the hypothesis that hominins were present at the site and were involved in the use of fire. The stone tools found at Evron Quarry belong to the Oldowan culture, one of the earliest known stone tool cultures, dating from approximately 2.6 million to 1.7 million years ago. Evidence found at Evron Quarry provides insight into how early human ancestors interacted with fire. The presence of numerous burnt animal bones suggests that fire was used to prepare food. Cooking meat not only kills bacteria and parasites, but also makes proteins and other nutrients more digestible, providing more energy for the body. This may have played an important role in physical development, and in particular the development of the brain, an organ that requires a large amount of energy. The concentration of ash in a limited area suggests that the fire was maintained at a specific location, without spreading to the surrounding environment. This suggests that human ancestors had the ability to control the fire, keeping it burning within a certain range. The relatively consistent degree of charring of the bones suggests that they were burned in a steady temperature fire, rather than the result of a rapid and uncontrolled fire. The discovery of ancient stone tools near the fire traces suggests that hominins were present at the site and likely used fire for a variety of purposes. These evidences, taken together, form a strong argument that human ancestors were using fire in a controlled manner at Evron Quarry around 1 to 1.5 million years ago. This finding pushes back the previously accepted timeline for the use of fire by the genus Homo by 200,000 to 500,000 years. Prior to the discovery at Evron Quarry, the most convincing evidence for the use of controlled fire dated to around 780,000 years ago was found at sites such as Jesher Benot Yaakov in Israel and Wonderwork Cave in South Africa. These sites provided evidence of ancient hearths, burnt animal bones, and concentrated ash. The new discovery at Evron Quarry pushes this back by hundreds of thousands of years, suggesting that the ability to master fire may have emerged in earlier Homo species, perhaps Homo erectus or a similar hominin. However, many unanswered questions remain about the early use of fire by human ancestors. Did human ancestors learn to make fire, or did they simply maintain and use fire from natural sources, such as forest fires caused by lightning? The evidence from Evron Quarry does not provide a direct answer to this question. How often and for what purposes did our ancestors use fire? Was it used only for cooking and warmth, or was it also used for other purposes such as repelling insects or hardening wooden tools? How widespread was the use of controlled fire among different hominin populations in Africa and Asia during the early Pleistocene? Scientists hope that further research at Evron Quarry and other ancient sites will provide further evidence to answer these questions and shed further light on the important role of fire in human evolution. Hidden in ancient sediments at Al-Athar, a promising archaeological site in Saudi Arabia, scientists have discovered a priceless treasure trove of human history. Fossilized footprints dating back some 120,000 years, carved into the soft, now petrified ground. This extraordinary find not only provides rare, direct evidence of the presence of Homo sapiens, modern humans, in the Arabian Peninsula at a crucial time in the history of human migration out of Africa, but also sheds light on ancient migration corridors and the adaptation of our ancestors to diverse environments as they conquered the world. The fossilized footprints at Al-Athar are more than just indentations in the rock. They are the imprints that tell the story of a long and challenging journey, a crucial chapter in the story of the spread of modern humans across the planet. The Al-Athar site, located in the Nefid Desert of Saudi Arabia, is a rich archaeological site that reveals traces of both human and animal presence in the distant past. Excavations at Al-Athar have uncovered many ancient stone tools, suggesting that the area was home to or a stopover for hominin and Homo sapiens groups for tens of thousands of years. However, the discovery of fossilized footprints dating back 120,000 years has catapulted Al-Athar to new heights on the world archaeological map, becoming a unique window into a pivotal period in the history of modern human migration out of the African continent. The fossilized footprints were found in an ancient lake that has since dried up, where the soft mud perfectly preserved the traces of ancient footsteps before turning to stone over time. Scientists have identified hundreds of individual footprints belonging to both humans and animals, creating a vivid picture of the ecosystem and interactions between species in this area more than 100,000 years ago. Among them, those identified as Homo sapiens are similar in size and shape to those of modern humans, providing direct evidence of our species' presence in Saudi Arabia at that time. Detailed analysis of the fossil footprints at Al-Athar has yielded valuable information about the individuals who left their traces on this land. The size and shape of the human footprints indicate that they belong to individuals with a similar physique to modern humans today. The length and width of the foot, along with the shape of the toes and arches, are consistent with the anatomical characteristics of Homo sapiens. Hundreds of footprints were found, indicating that a group of people, including adults and children, had passed through the area. The direction of the footprints allowed scientists to reconstruct the route and speculate about the purpose of the journey. In addition to the human footprints, scientists also found footprints of various animals, including elephants, horses, and hyenas. The presence of both human and animal footprints at the same location suggests that humans shared the habitat with these animals and may have interacted with them, perhaps hunting or being hunted. Dating the sediment layers containing the footprints using methods such as radiometric dating confirmed that they date to around 120,000 years ago. This places the Al-Athar footprints at a key point in the history of Homo sapiens migration out of Africa. The discovery of 120,000-year-old fossil footprints at Al-Athar is significant in shedding light on the early migrations of Homo sapiens out of the African continent. Scientists have long debated when and how modern humans first left their cradle to conquer other parts of the world. The dominant out-of-Africa model holds that a major migration occurred around 60,000 years ago, during which Homo sapiens spread rapidly across Asia and then to other continents. However, recent archaeological and genetic discoveries have suggested earlier and more complex migrations. Evidence of Homo sapiens' presence in the Middle East and Asia more than 100,000 years ago has challenged the single later migration model. The Al-Athar footprints provide direct and strong evidence that Homo sapiens were present in the Arabian Peninsula, a key corridor between Africa and Asia, around 120,000 years ago. This finding further supports the hypothesis of multiple migrations of modern humans out of Africa, which may have taken multiple routes and at different times, depending on climatic and environmental conditions. The Arabian Peninsula, with its relatively abundant water and resources at certain times in the past, may have served as an important stopover and migration corridor for early Homo sapiens groups on their journey to explore the world. You want to learn something new every day? This channel is for you. Subscribe to get the latest tutorials and lessons.